This is how you come down. All right, another day, another busy day. My downtime for an hour. So, me and Adventure Dog, she's ripping around being crazy. Something got in the chicken coop, killed 5 chickens last night. And the snow's too hard to figure out what it is. I think it might be a marten, but I got some trail cameras. I'm gonna throw down a few of them, stack those chickens up just inside the bush and see what's up. Kind of unfortunate. I guess that's farm life, right? What else? Not much to report, except my usual shit. Now I got a couple cords of wood I have to cut and split today, and I have to figure out how to pull my pump out of the well and fix it. It's really having a tough time being told I got to dump $7,000 to $8,000, $9,000 to do that when I know that I've helped somebody pull it up by hand before another property. Anyway, blah, blah. I got to do that before I got to take off. Then I got another road trip to go pick up my truck. A bunch of other shit. On and on and on and endless. Now, probably if you saw yesterday's video to the end, Sarah opened up her store. There's not too much in there yet, but there's a lot of cool stuff coming. That's called howtohuntstore.com. It's an easy way to find it. And there's a bunch of these hats. But there's a bunch of other cool shit coming too. And then I posted a picture on the community page of what I'm gonna get her to put on a t-shirt. Actually, maybe a sweatshirt, because this time of year, so I can wear it with a jacket on it. And it would be fun. It'd be kind of funny in a way to wear a t-shirt like this. I'll put a picture up here beside me and wear that in public. Because not too many people are gonna know what the hell that means, but when somebody does, they know. Well, that'd be funny, almost like a secret side, like somebody pass you by and go, I'm right there with you, or whatever, right? Be interesting. So I think I'm gonna get her to do that. And then I guess maybe some of you might want one too, and we'll start wearing them around the planet and see how many people actually it catches their eye. And you know what else too that could do is that could help a lot of people start talking. Actually, I just thought about it. That could actually help a lot of people start talking to somebody with confidence in public in their own community too, right? Imagine if you had that sweatshirt on and who knows how many people are here watching and they just don't want to share the story. They're just too, possibly a little too messed up between the ears still from their experience, and they just don't feel confident to type it out and share it. They just want to sit here quietly and watch and listen. And you never know if one of those people sees one of us wearing one of those sweatshirts in public. They might just come up to you and talk to you and say, hey, I'm a member of the same club. And you don't even have to say the word Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or Sabby or anything. You know exactly what you're talking about, right? That'll be an interesting experiment. I'm gonna get her to do it. For sure. Anyway, enough of that babbling. I got a few other helpful videos I'm making and putting on the How to Hunt channel that I feel are very important in helping people in that world too. I'll be up soon. But more importantly to me is to get as many people heard as I can. And here's somebody else right here. This is titled Anson County Experience. ANSON County Experience. Maybe a close encounter, question mark. Thanks for helping me remember this, Steve. I'm in North Carolina. I first found your channel a few years ago. Sorry to hear about your horse and a couple of your postings. Animals are very special beings, pals, companions. When you said the hair on your body was like wire, with my goosebumps, it took me back to one hunting experience that I had immediately. I've had a lot of hunting experiences, but this one stands out by itself, and I had filed it away. It must have been around 2007 or 06 when it happened. I didn't feel fear, or I was scared a little, but did not smell anything. I was in a lock-on stand very early in the morning, about 14 feet up in the rain, waiting for the front to move on. I've been camping since I was 10, so rain or cows. So rain or cows is not a big deal? I don't know, that was a typo. Cows is probably a typo. I woke up hearing, oh, sorry, here we go. I woke up hearing cows walking around me when I was 10. I know what rain and drip sound like, but what I heard sounded like heavy footsteps. First, one side of the tree, then the other. A cat or predator would not make any noise at all. Agreed. It was so dark, you could not see your hand in front of your face. Close your eyes, the same view is there. Very dark. I did not hear any footsteps leaving or any coming. Not anything at all. I felt scared, and I don't know why. Okay, that's freaking odd, because I had like 5 or 6 bulls got loose in my previous home from like a mile away, and they were out in the yard, and it woke me up, and I could hear the footsteps on the ground easily, but you as well hear them breathing and snorting and doing their regular cattle activities, right? So yeah, you would have heard them breathing and snorting and carrying on. You would have heard them coming and going easily. This happened about 40 yards from a UT to the PD River. I've not shared this experience at hunt camp when I got back. There are some things you don't share at hunt camp. I felt when it got light enough and went back, I left when it got light enough and went back to the four-wheeler about 100 yards or so behind me. I mean, the experience was like it was yesterday. Only one of the many trips to the woods did this happen. This area was very remote. It was in investment timber properties, 5,000 to 6,000 acres, 8 or more big tracts, maybe more, that was leased as a hunt camp, west of Rockingham, North Carolina. Cougar/big cat. As I was driving to the same hunting camp early one morning, about 5:15 a.m., I left the house about 3:30 a.m. when I saw a golden retriever running through a peach orchard to my left. I thought to myself, what is a golden retriever here at this time of day? Then it jumped 15 feet from the center of the road in front of me and up the 4-foot bank and into the woods, and made me wake up fully. It was the long rope tail with the end upturned like a cat jumping. I was very awake and excited when I reached camp a couple of miles away. My eyes were like saucers, they told me. Funny thing is, animals don't read books about where they're supposed to be or how they're supposed to act. The state biologist told me, and a friend in Scouts told me it was something else, but I know what I saw. They said there are no big cats in North Carolina. Thanks, Steve, what you do. If you can get to a dollar store, you can get $1 readers. I get 10 at a time and put them all around. Thanks, Lars. Thanks, Lars. I know, man. These ones are kind of nasty. I go through them like socks. I'm not even going to frickin' deny it for a second. There's these little 3-packs that I buy here at a time, and they seem to work out for a while anyway. This one seems to hope they're probably scratched or dirty, I don't know, but screwing me up. But anyways, on the big cats thing, you know, just for wolves as an example, there was a collared wolf this wolf was collared, I think, not too far from Fort St. John. Figure out where that is on the map of BC. That wolf went all the way down to southern Washington State and then back up again. Go figure. Yeah, there isn't a border anywhere on this continent for any big predator, period. For people to dictate a statement and say, there's no cougars in North Carolina, there's no cougars in West Virginia, whatever. They're idiots. And furthermore, we've already had Fish and Game wardens, people associated, contact us and email back and say flat out, they know for a fact that they are told to deny it, and if they don't, then they will lose some kind of study money or some damn thing. Adventure dog's back. So anyway, I'll guarantee you saw a cougar. I will guarantee it. Not a doubt. A friend of mine saw a big black cat in Tennessee, turkey hunting. Scared the shit out of them. They're here. They travel long distances. People to say they aren't here. So ridiculous when people say shit like that. There's no grizzly bears. I remember one time I was when I first moved to Whistler Pemberton. Started meeting people around there, you know, hardcore skiers, mountain bikers, and they'd been there for a long time, and they're out in the woods snowmobiling, mountain biking, skiing, backcountry shit, and I said flat out, so you guys see many grizzly bears? Almost all of them went, no, there's no grizzly bears around here. What? They're everywhere there. and actually befriended a conservation officer and a wildlife biologist, and they told me that actually it was a triangle between North Vancouver, Squamish, and Whistler, and at that time they knew of 56 different grizzly bears just there, right? But anyways, I guess that's getting a little off topic, isn't it? Sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, thanks for that share, man. You know what you heard. And there's not much else that can make you do that, and especially make you knee-jerk want to write a story about it and send it to us, right? That was a major impact on you. And we've all been there. Lots of us have been there. The club of no return, right? Now, this one's titled, Didn't Make the Club, But. Hi, Steve. My name is Maggie, and yes, you can use my name. I live in Arizona now, but I grew up in Southern Oregon. I lived 20 years in Reno at the base of the Sierras. This incident happened around 1975, late winter, out on the logging roads off of Clover Creek Road in Keno, Oregon. My dad, two older cousins, and I were riding back to the trucks to load up and go home. It's important to know that my cousins were always way out in front, sometimes out of sight. So they took off, and Dad and I were in a dead heat as usual, but I was behind him. Both of us were full throttle, probably around 50 miles or so an hour, trying to catch up to my cousins. I was behind my dad about 20 yards so that his snow dust wasn't flying into my visor. And suddenly, on a long, flat straightaway, I got the distinct feeling that something was chasing me, trying to grab me by my collar. Whoa. We kept going, my thumb crushing the throttle. Tried to go faster to catch up to Dad, maybe run alongside him. I peeked back about 10 times because I was positive something was trying to grab me. I kept pushing my sled, but there was no way that I could catch up to Dad. I couldn't go any faster. Oh, that'd be a shitty feeling, comboed up with the feeling you're having. So I finally got the nerve to turn my head over my right shoulder to look instead of glance, and that's where the feeling was coming from. My eyes must have been the size of silver dollars. Kind of funny now to imagine the look on my face, but I was terrified like never before or ever again, minus some unrelated nightmares. I looked the first time, and all I could see was sparkling snow dust all around the rear of my sled. I turned back to make sure I still had distance. Dad liked to mess with me and such. My distance was fine, so I turned back to look behind and saw my snow dust, but there was like a white string-like image that was higher than the dust. This is the detail that I completely blocked out until. Last summer, I made my second annual trip back to Klamath and spent a week in my BFF's cabin. I never thought about Sasquatch at first, but I was worried about the bear that left prints by the deck the week before I got there. The bedroom that I stayed in had a window that was basically at eye level to me right next to my pillow. Now I have horrendous insomnia. I went 10 years averaging about 2 to 3 hours a night. Oh, that sucks. However, back home in Oregon, I slept at 3 different houses and slept like a rock. It was unreal and I couldn't get enough. I took a lot of naps up at the cabin. It felt like I could sleep forever. But one night, I had a dream that a young Sasquatch peeked in at me while I was in bed. He had a sweet, curious look on his face, and he smiled at me with a twinkle in his eye. I blinked and he was gone. Now, because of that dream, that honestly kind of shook me up a bit. I started looking into the subject, and yours was the first BF channel I found. I've been catching Can-Am Missing, Dave Pilatus, and because of that, your channel was suggested to me by this platform. Dave's channel was the catalyst to remembering my terrifying snowmobiling experience. That dream and watching Dave's channel is what made me remember the terrifying feeling and the white, stringy vision in my mind. I now suspect that vision to be the hair of a Sasquatch that was chasing me. The instant that I remembered this, my jaw dropped. Was my feeling accurate? Was a being really trying to abduct me? Was it a effing Bigfoot? So, I can't say for sure, but that would explain my intense fear and the vision that I blocked out probably before we even got home. This isn't the only weird feeling that I've had, by the way, but never like something was going to snatch me off my sled at 50 miles per hour. I remember seeing the structures, feeling the dead quiet, like something is watching you type shit. I never suspected Sasquatch. I thought the structures were old Native American structures. Anyway, this channel's helped me make a sense of this issue, and I really appreciate everyone sharing. Steve, your cojones must be the size of boulders. Never stop being you, and Thanks so much for spending all the time and energy this channel consumes. Love from Arizona. Maggie. Not quite in the club. This. All right. Oh, good. Adventure dog finally laid down to be good instead of chewing on shit. What a good dog. Anyway, thanks for that email. And again, you know, a lot of people might think, well, that didn't really sound like too much, right? But like I said, I'm trying to point out, when people email in a feeling they had or a sound they heard, it's a huge impact because it's something else. It's nothing normal, right? It's a huge, huge impact. So that should, just the fact that they're writing that in and sharing that and remembering it like it was yesterday, that's a big, big impact. It's a serious event in someone's life, right? And a lot of people have had the same thing. And the feeling you had when you're ripping on the sled, I've had the same almost, but I've shared this experience before. I was way up the Pemberton Valley, and basically where I was is ground zero of being surrounded by numerous other incidents, including my own. And I was only about 200 yards away from what I called the stand. And I took you guys in there a spring or 2 springs ago, I believe. First time I went back in years. And that's where I was trapping wolves and in big, huge cedars. We're talking first growth cedars in the bottom of the valley. And a steep valley, funk, right down to the bottom edge. And actually that intro video that I made where I'm walking along the riverbed and the drone's filming me, you know that one? Well, as I'm walking that way, this particular place is dead to the right of me, about 600 yards, right there in that video, right there, okay? And I was nailing long fencing staples into the base of this big first growth cedar tree with my Estwing hatchet. So it's a hammer on one side, hatchet on the other. I'm smashing these staples into that tree, and I have my rifle with my backpack, and I'm on snowshoes, and I'm probably on 4 feet, 5 foot of snow. And then I dropped my hammer, and when I dropped it, it rattled off one of the sloping pieces of wood on the sloping part of the trunk. Anyways, it made that rattle. And then at the same time, I heard something. And after you've seen these beings, you know they're out there. A big part of my senses is always reserved for being aware of how I feel, what direction I'm feeling it from, and just being aware. And also is a big chunk of my mind, has got my ear subtly tuned into listening for other sounds beside the sounds I might be focused on for hunting, right? Trapping, whatever. And I heard something. And then I'm like, what was that? I heard something, And then boom, a knock on the wood on wood knocking sound straight up above me on my right. And then boom, straight to my 45 on my left, which would have put it on the rock bluffs directly above where my snowmobile was parked at the bottom. And then to top it off, I was the only person in there without previous snowmobile track in there, and I'm on top of frickin' powder fresh, deep ass snow. So you snowmobilers out there know what it's like to turn around, right? In that shit. And I got nowhere to it's a tight old deactivated logging road in, and I'm parked right on it facing in, and I got to turn the sled around to get out to the main drag. So all of you who know, you know what that must have felt like, right? But anyway, so immediately I just looked at the ground, threw my stuff in my backpack, and obviously every hair is turned to wire, and I'm looking at the ground, and under my breath, I'm just like, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'll put a hole in your head if I have to. Don't have to leave me alone. And then I had to snowshoe. I had to snowshoe about 200 yards, I think, probably, to get to my sled, and then I had to turn that sucker around. And stressed right out. And I don't even remember how many tree knocks I heard going back and forth. But what I thought it was me blasting on that big cedar tree in the valley bottom. And possibly one hearing, I don't know, thinking, is that you? Bam, no, this is me over here. Bam, well, I'm up here. Boom, well, I'm right here. What's down there? I don't know. Let's go. Who knows? Whatever, right at the time. But I guess now with the knowledge we have now, I already know they know exactly what I am and who I am and what I'm doing. I know that for myself with confidence now. But anyway, so I got my sled, turned it around, stressed to the max. We're talking 20 out of 10 level stress. And then And you're just hoping to God these things aren't going to chase you and mess with you. You're just hoping, God, don't chase me. Don't chase me. And then I pinned it out to the main drag. I had to slow down, and I got on the main drag, and then I really pinned it. But I didn't look back. I didn't want to look back. I didn't look to my side. I didn't look to the side at all. I looked straight ahead, and I pinned it all the way back. And another reason why I pinned it is because another guy I know, very A-type, strong, kick-ass mountain dude, mountain horseman, big game guide, lives in Alberta. And his brother told me that he had one of these things paralleling him in the timber, effortlessly keeping up with him on his sled as he's absolutely shitting himself, pinning it. And this thing's just cruising along right with him. And that's always in the back of my mind, especially when I know exactly who this person was, and there's no freaking way this dude would make that one up and share it. But anyway, that was just a creepy thing for me to visualize. So, like you, pinning it and having that feeling, well, I didn't quite have the feeling that something was chasing me, but I had that feeling of they are right behind me, and if they are coming up and running along, I don't want to know about it. And it's a real insecure feeling, right? It really sucks ass. And another time, about 3 years ago, I was exactly where, do you guys remember that video I made? I said, Sasquatch or not, I videotaped what we saw, however I titled that video, where the ground was all flattened out and all those trees were snapped off. This basically the same height, 4 or 5 in a bouquet with the roots out, thrown on the ground, and not a piece of that soft bark scraped anywhere. Not a tooth, not a claw, nothing. No scrapes. Anyway, babbling. Another time I was there by myself, I had gone up, it was unsuccessful, drove all the way home 2 days. I got pissed off, and I turned around and I went all the way back up there by myself. And by the time I'd gotten there, moose had closed down for rifle. The only thing open was elk, and that made all the hunters leave. There's nobody there. No. Oh, there's one other. There's a grandfather and his son camped just downriver from me. That's it. And I went back into that exact same spot. This is before I had my trail camera spun around the tree facing the other one 2 feet away from it. It was spun. And then we found all those branches broken. And this was before that happened. And I'm in there by myself. And I also had recently had a guy from Fort St. John, somewhere up in the Long Peace River, had emailed me, and they were stalking elk in the timber, and one of these beings, a big black one, was just down below them, right there, stalking the same elk, and not far from where I was. So anyways, you all these thoughts go in the back of your mind, right? While you're by yourself in the middle of frickin' nowhere hunting. And I remember I was leaving there. I had to hike out. I stay in the woods until I just can't see anymore. Like if I cannot see antler at 100 yards, is basically that's my light level for me to quit. I'm out. So that's how. So obviously by the time I get to my quad, it's going to be dark as shit, right? And then I have to take in that particular spot, about a 45-minute quad ride on this old trapper trail on a ridge in the timber, like just wide enough for a quad. Spruce trees and shit growing tight around you, so it's kind of spooky, right? But anyway, I got to my quad, and it was in big poplar timber. I left my quad, got in the quad, turned it around, started going on that trail, and then I had that absolute disgusting, gross feeling of something right behind me when I'm on the quad in the dark. It absolutely just eats ass. That feeling sucks. It just sucks. There's nothing you can do, and you're by yourself. And like you said, and you're speaking to you, the emailer, on your sled, there's nothing. It's helpless, right? You got to keep going. You have to keep going. Your dad's up ahead. Who knows how long it's going to take for him to decide to look back and make sure you're still back there. And you're by yourself, and you've got this thing behind you, right? And you're on your machine. And you don't want to turn around, and you don't know what it is. You don't know how fast they're going. There's this thing breathing down my neck about to grab me as a joke. And then another one add to that too. I know I'm babbling, but it's interesting to me to share. These other 2 guys emailed in about 2 of them being on a quad, and something basically whoosh, flipped their quad up from the rear and dumped them on their asses. That would suck, right? So anyway, I guess I just shared all that shit to let you know that I can relate. I know exactly what you're feeling, kinda. I can relate. But anyway, If you ever come across something that you feel can help the people in the club, send it in, all right? And be safe out there. Thanks for emailing. All right, this one has no subject, and I don't know why my phone saved it like this. Look at how tight the text is in this. Weird. Whatever, and then it goes to normal again. Should be able to read it smooth. Everyone said there is a Bigfoot / Sasquatch in California. I had never seen or heard one till one day we were pulled over on the side of the road by Avilia, A-V-I-L-I-A Beach, sitting on the hood of the old Mercury, listening to the cars drive by on the freeway, smoking a cig, talking about what we were going to do that day. So we started kissing, because, you know, we were younger, haha. Anyway, all of a sudden we heard something crashing through the bushes. My boyfriend told me to scream, and I was like, ah! Not really thinking it would matter, because whatever it was big and tearing through bushes, and it was coming so. My fiance yelled, okay, there's no punctuation in this, all right, you guys? So my fiance yelled, no, scream like you mean it. Well, I did as loud and as long as I could. A real Jamie Lee Curtis scream, straight out of the movies. Ah! Well, whatever it was stopped in its tracks. We got the hell out of there and asked each other what the F was that. We never went back that I remember because we were too scared. Mountain lions and bears are all over in California, but lion hunt their prey silently, and bears usually go the other way, and wolves usually run in packs. A badger don't usually attack people, and it was silent, except for the snapping of branches. Well, I still don't know what it was. Oh, and then it goes into the same email again. All right, hold on a minute. And that was it. All right, there you go. Short to the point, but it had enough impact to share it. Who knows what it was? Got a feeling I know what it was. Here's another one titled, My Experience. Hello, all willing to acknowledge the unexplainable. I recently had an experience I cannot figure out. I'd like to remain anonymous if possible. In case there's something to my experience, I believe parents in my area should be aware of it. Oh my God, thank you for you. My sentiments exactly. Location, Onslow County, North Carolina, O-N-S-L-O-W. My particular neighborhood is next to a large military installation. As a kid, I was raised outside, hunting, fishing, camping, and looking for reptiles in the woods in northern Minnesota. I've had a few encounters with wildlife that have made my butt pucker, but nothing has come close to what I observed in my own backyard. I have to say I'm not a fan of feeling like prey, and this was worse than having a mountain lion walking outside my blind. At least when I encountered the mountain lion, I had my Henry 30-30 and confidence I could handle the situation. I had a real shitty feeling that I had no chance against this thing. This particular evening was dramatically cooler in temperature than the current heat waves, probably around 75 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The humidity had lifted as well. I left my back patio light off while running my pup outside. The visibility was slightly more than sunset, and there was a slight breeze. I was sitting downwind. My pup was taking his sweet time sniffing the far corner. Most of our fence is 6-foot privacy fence. This corner has multiple pallets built up to cover a gap. There's a strip of brush and trees that lead to a larger wooded area behind this corner. It's very thick at this time of year. Eye shine from coyotes and other smaller animals can get close enough to make out, but that's it for visibility. I watched my pup as his tail dropped between his hind legs. He froze, pointing and staring straight into the brush. I noticed the wind stopped and really focused on what I could hear. I heard nothing, not even the normal ringing in my ears, just dead silence. I slowly stood up and recalled my pup to my side. He slowly backed up towards me. The mama bear in me started to get pissed. Every fiber of my being was screaming for me to protect my family. I picked up my boy and brought him inside. I grabbed my favorite machete and stormed over to the back corner. As I made my way off the patio, a vibration just wrecked me. Oh shit, no way. The only way I can describe it is like when just the back passenger windows are down and there's that uncomfortable vibration and loud wind / Harley Davidson-like sound. I was on my knees, holding myself up with my machete. My arms and legs felt heavy. I felt drunkish and suddenly dripping sweat. Now I'm really pissed. When the actual F is happening, I get the feeling of eyes directly on me. I get up and move to the side of the fence. There's definitely something large breathing in the brush. I couldn't have been more than 2 yards from the breathing sound. From my experience, it did not sound like a bear breathing, nor did it sound like a canine. I found exposed rock and slapped my machete on it, hoping to force a reaction. I hear nothing but the breeze and a neighbor's donkey. I poked my head around to see through the pallets into the brush. I couldn't see anything. And then a smell hit me. It was like a wet dog and wet feral hog combined. It was condensed to a darker area of brush, so I used the flashlight on my phone, only finding more thick brush. My mind is literally blown. How did this thing move off without me hearing it? There's no way. I should have heard something moving away. I backed off to my patio and waited, just listening for anything. After a few minutes of hearing the normal neighborhood sounds, I went inside. I've had an experience like this before, and I cannot stress this enough. It's on loop in my mind now. Part of me hopes to never have that experience again, but I also want to see it and make solid eye contact. I want to be able to see it and accept it all. Accept it, I think. I'm a veteran, and I love the outdoors, but whatever it was in my yard terrified me more than anything I've ever experienced before. There's nothing better than the beauty of nature and the creatures within it. I thought I had a healthy respect for the capabilities of the animals in our world. This thing was beyond overwhelming. I want and need to know more. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure what transpired that evening, but I can't forget it. I never stopped looking over at the corner when I'm out with my dogs. I hope anyone in my area can hear this experience and take it or leave it. There are children around, and I will not tolerate harm coming to them. I can share this experience and warn others of possible danger to their child. Our future generations must be protected, and in this Jumanji game of life, who knows what will happen next. My pup is less than a year and around 80 pounds. He has a typical teenage attitude of invincibility. This thing caused an instant full stop in his behavior. Thank you for your time. All right. Love it, sort of. I don't love the experience or the alarm. I love the fact that there's somebody who are thinking right along the same lines is everybody deserves a fair crack at knowing what the hell's going on out there. Because this is absolute bullshit. We're not being informed, right? But then again, like I said earlier, and I've come to the realization years ago, does the government have something I need to know about from them? F no. They can ram it up their ass. Period. I need nothing from mainstream or my government. Absolutely nothing when it comes to knowledge. They will not give us true factual knowledge. Period. So that's why we're here, right? And that's why people like you and me and tens of thousands of others are here to hear the truth from each other in our communities when it comes to free, factual frickin' knowledge, right? And people do need to know. People need to know. All right, I'm going to tone it down because that's obviously I'm very passionate about that part of all this shit show going on. I'm angry at how many people have lost their confidence in enjoying what they enjoy in life. It really makes me angry, and we're going to keep on informing everybody absolutely no matter what. And you try to stop us. Well, look at how many people try to stop us in the past. It didn't work out too well for them, did it? And it's kind of funny on that note. A while back, you go to a couple places to see what kind of traffic hits a YouTube channel, and I noticed that there's a few people who'd been around for a while, and for whatever reason they had, they just went out of their way to run me, this channel, and all of you people are sharing into the ground. And I never mentioned their names once, still won't, but I casually watched how they're making out as they were putting an effort to do this. And 100% across the board, all those channels basically fizzled away, next to nothing. I don't think they even contribute to them anymore, right? That's the way it should be. You want to come out and try to suppress the word of the people? You should be kicked to the curb and tossed as a piece of garbage that you are, trying to intentionally keep knowledge from the people. That's a penalty, right? So anyways, I'm babbling a lot today. I'm right there with you. Everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to know. So thanks for sharing the location and what you experienced, and I'll bet you somebody else has had something go down around there, and they're probably watching this shit on this channel, right? And I'll bet you they're going to comment on it in the section below, comment section below, or they're going to write into us about it through me. All right, let's get one more, and I got to go start swinging the frickin' chainsaw and then the axe, and then I'm going to reluctantly start to give in and look into how I'm going to pull that frickin' water pump out of the ground myself. Probably use the winch in my quad or something to section it. Staging or something. Anyways, I'm babbling. Here we go. My Rhine cruise sighting. R-H-I-N-E cruise sighting is the title of this one. Dear Steve, my name is Emma. Last name pronounced Sal, as in a female pig, LOL. Really, your last name's spelled S-A-U-R-I-N-O. Pronounced Sal. All right, obviously, especially me. You may use my name as I tell anyone who will listen about my encounter, including my daughter, all her friends, and my young and old nieces and nephews. Good for you. You are a brave, brave woman. My encounter happened when my sister and I were on a river cruise on the Rhine, March 2015. My sister Sarah has lived in Switzerland for over 30 years. I live in the north of England. We were both recovering from separate accidents at the time. So for a treat, my sister booked us on a river cruise boat trip for a week. Wow, that'd be wicked. We departed from Basel, Switzerland, and the cruise would take us through parts of France, Germany, and Holland. My sighting occurred on the third morning. We had just finished breakfast in the restaurant. My sister went back to our cabin to get ready for a day trip, and I went up to the top deck for a smoke. As there was no one else up there, I decided to just lean on the railing and have my cigarette instead of in the allotted space for smokers in the middle of the deck. As I was relaxing and watching the forest go by, I saw in the tree line by the water's edge a huge being of an autumnal, rusty chestnut color, standing upright and still. Within milliseconds of seeing it, I swung around to see if anyone else was on the deck, but I was alone. I kept my eyes on it firmly, on it for about 90 seconds until the boat slowly took my view off of it. In that short time, I could make out its longer hair on its arms moving in the light breeze. Its arms hung down to its knees and had hair all over, apart from its nose and its eyes area. And it was tall in comparison to the very tall trees. I'd say at least 9 feet tall. I've tried to work out how far away it was, and we worked out maybe 50 feet away. No shit. You got a one hell of a good look at that thing, and the thing got a good look at you too. But I was elevated and I had a great view. I remember saying over and over in my "Thank you for letting me see you. Thank you. I'm so grateful" quote. My sister and I found out that it was part of the Black Forest in Germany that we were moving through that day. It is a day I will never forget. I want to share for all your other European listeners. They truly are everywhere. Thank you, Steve, for all your hard work and giving us a safe and honest channel to share experiences and for all the beautiful backdrops. And yes, thank you, too, for your wise and biased, truth-filled rants. Appreciate your efforts very much. Feel free to use our names. I'm 55 now and don't give a monkey's what people think. My sister, who's 62, also gives her constant and is still miffed she didn't see it with me. She shouldn't have given up smoking. Stay safe and well and keep up your great work. Kind regards from the UK. Also is disbelief of the state of play in our world today. I pray for better days for all of us. Thanks again, Emma. Emma, absolutely appreciate you. And welcome to the club. Right? Wow, man, that you got one hell of a frickin' eyeful there, didn't you? What an impact, right? What an impact. I wonder how many days you go through without thinking about that day, or at least the vision. You know, it's just daydreaming. All of a sudden, it's like, burnt. You see a quick little picture of it in your head. And you see that thing. But anyway, That's a new location. I would have remembered if you said that, if somebody had emailed about a river sighting there before. But now that you broke the ice, who knows? Who knows how many more people have seen that? Probably, possibly even the same one, right? It's funny, when I've been in camo head to toe and I see somebody coming on a quad or walking or whatever, I'm getting close to the road, or I'm right beside a road and I'm waiting for people to go by because I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want anybody to know where I'm hunting. And humans are typically so easy to avoid, elude, or not be seen. Humans are way, way too easy. Especially once you've been, a professional paid hunter. I don't know how many times, if I see somebody coming, I know that as long as I stand there, wide open to them with camouflage on, typically, or, neutral colors. And if I see humans coming by, and I'll do it just for the hell of it, and I will stand there wide open, leaning against a tree or whatever, a little bit of something behind me to break up my line, and I'll just tip my hat down a little bit like this so they can't see my eyes, and I'll stay there absolutely frozen, just out of curiosity to see how smoothly they go right by me and don't see shit. And so far, 100%. People just don't see that form normally, right? Even though it's right in front of them. You got to be looking for it. Or, like you say, it's that lucky moment when you're standing there and you glance over and bam, there it is, clear as day, and you can't believe it. Holy shit. Yeah. Crazy. Oh, I guess what I was getting at sharing me standing there was, I wonder how often that being and more played that game too. Oh, here comes that riverboat. I'll bet you if I stand here, nobody's going to see me. Nope, nobody saw me again. There they go. Right? I'll bet you it's a game that sucker plays. I would. I've done it. But anyway, we gotta get going. Had a few, Sarah texted me that a bunch of people emailed her from the UK and Australia about how they can get stuff from her store, the hats, etc., and the other shit that's coming. And this is the deal with the shipping. So I went with her. We went for coffee, went to the post office to ask some questions, and the post office closed. We went to Staples, and they were a shipper for UPS and FedEx. FedEx wanted, I'm sorry, I was wrong the other day. I thought it was 74, it was 47. FedEx wanted $47 to ship a hat across Canada. Right? Even just putting in a little dimple envelope. $47. I go, yeah, no way. So then we went to the post office when it opened up. It turns out it's $20 to ship a hat across Canada, and I gave her my friend's address in Alabama to see how much it was to ship down there. $20. So there you go. And then she also looked into it and she thought she read it was $16 to go to Australia. I'm like, what? That doesn't even remotely make sense. So she's left out the UK and the Australia part just for right now, and she will get to the bottom of that, I think, today. And then she will have everything available to all you in the UK and Australia. All right? But she just can't do it yet until she confirms the shipping. So her prices in North America are all include the shipping cost. There you go. Message passed on. I'm done. Now I'm gonna wake up Adventure Puppy, go change, fire up the chainsaw, start getting my shit done. And and I'm gonna get her to put the that picture I showed earlier on something. I'm gonna get a sweatshirt. Maybe she'll make a handful more for everybody out there too. So share my story at howtohunt.com to get the knowledge shared, get something happen in your community shared that you want everybody to have a fair crack at knowing about. All right, do it here if you want, do it yourself, do it somewhere else, but just make sure you do it. Speak out loud and share what the hell's going on in your backyard. And the store for all this shit is howtohuntstore.com. Probably put a link in the description below, or a drop thing, whatever the hell. It'll be out there, you can find it. I'll be back later. Be safe out there. Well, Adventure Puppy, what do you think? Should we go do something fun? Get some work done? Can't just lay around here, you know. You didn't come here just to lay around. You gotta come outside and earn your keep. What do you think? No? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Adventure Puppy.